Today on the Meredith TV talk show, we are joined by Meghan Palmquist. She is the founder of the Solopreneur COO, and she helps business owners build systems that create peace, stability, and freedom. I love it. Her journey is one of courage and shining through adversity by designing a business that supports everyday real life. Thank you so much, Meghan, for being on the show.
Thank you.
You're also, we should say, an amazing keynote speaker, a workshop facilitator, and I would love to know, why did you create this amazing business?
Yeah, out of necessity, out of realizing that it didn't exist. I worked in the banking world for 10 years, and I saw so many people that own businesses that would come in and bring tons of money in and have just as much, if not more, leave. And they'd be stressed out all the time. And I would ask all the questions saying, what are you spending money on? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And it was always the same thing. Like they're just in survival mode. And realize so many of them don't know how to run a business. They know their skill, but running it's totally different. And so that's just a natural skill I have, is being able to see that 50,000 piece puzzle and make it a 50-piece puzzle. Same beautiful picture. And I started dabbling in it as a side hustle, and it kind of morphed from there.
To a big business,
Big
because I
business.
think a lot of people
Yeah.
need help, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And not just any help, but a lot of the time they don't even realize a system or what software perhaps could really be a game changer for them. What do you love most about speaking about this?
I love opening people's eyes to even realizing what's out there. Because to your point, you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times you get stuck using things because that's always been what it always has been. And the thought of changing just feels so overwhelming. And so I love sharing how to simplify it, how to really hone in on what you need from a system, and then finding the right fit based off of your need, not based off of their amazing marketing. And that's probably the biggest trap. Is these software have really good marketing.
Yes.
And they make it seem like if you buy their software, your life's going to change overnight. And that's not how it is. You still have to set it up. It's just like buying a house. If you buy a house that is turnkey ready, right, you might not have to make any improvements, but you still have to decide how to unpack your boxes. What goes in the kitchen versus what goes in the bedroom.
Yes.
Same thing with software. You have to really go through it with a fine-tooth comb and figure out how you're going to use it for your needs. And if you don't go into it with that mindset, it's so overwhelming.
Speaking of overwhelming, we
Yes.
moved not too long ago to a dream home, but
Hey.
it was chaos. And you say chaos without systems is the issue.
Yes, completely. And it really just boils down to you're carrying everything in your head, especially with a physical move like that. There's so many logistics that go into that.
Yes.
Plus,
They say it's like the most stressful thing you can do. It's
It
like top
is.
5.
Yes.
Marriage, divorce, death, and
Absolutely.
moving, believe it or not.
yeah, and it's true because you're doing that while also living your current life.
Yes, it doesn't stop, sadly.
No, right? You wish you could just be
There's
like,
no pause on everything else, right?
let me take a month off work and just do that.
I've got to tell you, in the moment of insanity, speaking like speaker to speaker, I had 5 engagements the week
my gosh.
before we moved. I said to my husband, we cannot move this week. Like, I'm going to lose my mind. He goes, we can, because we're a good team, and
Yep.
he's got organization and systems on lockdown. So I could be out there
Perfect.
doing my thing. But I do think that it was a mild moment of insanity.
A little bit, yeah.
And I think it's funny because you talk about how it's okay to be a solopreneur. Because you define that and why it makes sense for some people.
Yeah, I think that we're living in a world right now where everything is about scaling, right? There's so much talk about scale, outsource, delegate, do all of these things. And for some industries and some businesses, that works. That's totally fine. But I am really on a mission to tell people it's also okay if that's not where you want to go. If you don't want to be a mogul, if you don't want to have a team of 50, especially living in California, the second you start hiring people, it's a whole new can of worms.
Yes.
And I have worked with some of those like top name coaches that, online they're sharing, I make 100,000 a month and blah, blah, blah. They're not keeping any of it. So much of it is getting outsourced and paying for help, and they're not actually paying themselves. And so I'm just trying to spread the mission that being a solopreneur is not any level of success or not level of success. It is how you decide to frame your business, how you decide to frame your life. And if you're going to run it yourself or run it with your spouse or run it with maybe a handful of people, that's fine. but don't feel the need to delegate everything out, because some businesses, you are your business, and
It's
that's
so
totally
true.
okay.
It's so true. And what comes to mind is I have a friend who scaled beyond measure. And it's like Wizard of Oz pulling back the curtain, the
Yeah,
chaos that
it's
I've
crazy.
seen ensue. And this is a dear friend,
Yeah,
made me choose to never want to get that big. And
yeah,
it's not because I don't think that there is great, I think, impact if you have
right.
a bigger business. But to your point, you can have extraordinary impact and still have an intentionally designed business.
Yes.
Tell me what that looks like and some systems that have been game changers for clients that you've helped them implement, or even ways that you've helped them save time.
Yeah, I think that for most of my solopreneur clients, they are running their business, right? They're also mothers. They're also serving on nonprofit boards. They're also caregiving for aging parents. They're also team mom on their kids' sports team. That's 5 different businesses. And one of the biggest things that I help people realize is that you're running 5 different businesses. We can't keep acting like they're all individual things that need individual attention, because you're one person. And so, where I come in is identifying what are all the different businesses that are part of your life, and how can we find software, tools, and systems that can integrate all of it together.
I feel like music should be queued up right now, like, oh, like
It's
people
game
can
changing.
exhale now.
Yeah,
And so tell me what that looks like for people you've turned it around for and
yeah.
some of the results that you've had once you've worked with people.
Yeah. So for one client off the top of my head, she had all of those things that I just listed and then some. And she had different software for running her business. She's a financial advisor. Then she had different pieces of apps and tools and all the things. So I came in, we did a systems audit, which is where I identify everything that she had going on, why she was using everything. That's the big key. Why are you even using that?
Mm.
And are you using it? And then decided, okay, what is your end goal? And for her, her end goal was, I keep losing track of all my tasks. I have notes, I have to do lists, I have all the things in place that you would think would help catch that, and it didn't. And in her case, it was overload becoming white noise.
Mm.
And so I ended up stripping all of those things out and coming up with one system with different tags for her different categories.
Wow.
So that way she could go to one place to find her tasks. And based off of whatever mindset she wanted to work in, that's what we did tasks based off of. And then how can we then incorporate that with her calendar and her CRM system that she's using for her company? All these other tools that you can't necessarily get rid of, but how do you make them all integrate together is what I did for her. After we worked together, she has actually started another business because now she had so much more time that, a lot of us that are doing a ton of things, we're really good at doing a ton of things. And give those people a little bit more time, how many more amazing things can they do?
Yes.
And so that's what worked out for her, is that she was able to then broaden what her vision was, because she wasn't bogged down by all the other noise. And it's been pretty neat to be able to see client after client have a transformation of time freedom, true time freedom, financial freedom, because a lot of those software are expensive, or you're paying for VAs and then you're running in circles because they're not giving you what you are expecting from them, but it's because you didn't properly ask them what you needed because you didn't know what you needed. And so a lot of what I do too is helping you just identify what your processes even entail so you can properly get help.
Wow. And
Yeah.
I think that the proper help is what we all struggle with. How can systems like become your team? You talk about that, and I love this idea.
Yeah, now more than ever, we have AI, right? There's so many AI tools available to us. And so if you spend just 3 days, grab a blank piece of paper, write down all the things that you do in a day. Now, don't overwhelm yourself. You don't have to do anything with that list as far as cleaning it up or fixing it, but at least acknowledge to yourself all the things that you do. And then take that list, throw it into ChatGPT, and say, which of these things can be automated?
Ah, the magic
The
question. I love this.
right? What on this list can be automated? You don't have to have the answer. Ask chat for the answer.
We love chat.
Right? It's the best thing. Mine is called Pam, by the way, because she's personal assistant for
Oh
Megan.
my God, I love it so much.
And and ask them, what can I do about this? You can even make it even better. Now remember, ChatGPT works based off of the prompts. So it's only going to give you as good of an answer as you ask. So my big thing is ask specifically, these are the tools that I have available to me. how can I use my tools to make this list smaller?
You just saved thousands of
Like,
people watching you on TV. Make a note, get your pen out, and get yourself some Chat GPT and ask her, especially if you want to name her. I love that, Pam, for your example. What you can do to declutter your life in many ways. And
yeah,
speaking of life, you are a mother,
I am.
recently newly married,
Yep.
and I know that that's such a joy for you, but it can also, for a lot of us business owners, be a struggle.
Yeah.
How can systems or organization in your work support that?
So that was really my big thing for being a solopreneur is I wanted to be able to live my life present with my kids, present with my husband, but also make a living. And there is no way that I could have done that and also helping take care with my mom's stuff without my systems. And by that I mean they catch me on days when I get a call from the school and I have to drop everything and go. Or my kid had a spelling bee last week. I was able to be there the whole time
Mm.
and then go to a client meeting. And it worked out fine because I knew that my systems that I have in place are running behind the scenes, doing all of those finite details. I don't have to keep track of them in my head. I don't have to worry. I had that gnarly flu over Christmas. It knocked me out for a week. Yes, I had to reschedule some client meetings, but my actual operations were still running. And there is nothing not crazy behind the scenes. It's just setting up intentional steps about what my day entails and what it needs to entail so that way nothing falls through the cracks.
I love it. And you teach this and you're so passionate, which is why speaking is such a gorgeous venue for you and an
Thank you.
opportunity where you're desperately needed, if I could be honest. So I think that there are some pro tips that you've shared with me that you really savor the most. And if you were to give one or two tips for, a meeting planner out there booking in the sea of sameness, there are so many different things that they can book people for. But for
Yeah.
you actually have some really great skills and systems that you help people implement right away. One of them, I
Yeah.
believe, is batching. Talk to me about that.
Yes. So I actually love helping people batch based off of what energy and mindset they need. So, what I mean by that is if you have a list of tasks that you have to do, right? I go through and I say, okay, this particular task is a mind numbing task. I can do this while walking on my walking pad watching Gilmore Girls. This particular task is a phone call. Okay, well, that's something that I could do when I'm in car line picking up my son. This particular task is brain power. So when I'm feeling at my peak best at noon, when I'm feeling on fire, I'm going to do my brain power tasks. And then also you can have ones that are creative. Some days you just feel creative. That's when you dive into Canva. And I think that's probably one of the biggest productivity killers for people when they're trying to batch their tasks is they batch like task items, but not based off of where they're at mentally.
Oh, wow.
And so you kind of force yourself to make the creative thing, right? Or you're sitting on hold when that is maybe prime time for you to be doing deep brain work. So, really identifying what that looks like for you and matching whatever tools available to you are on how it can complement.
What's most rewarding about this work? When I listen to you, I'm like, everybody needs Megan in their life. Forget just the stages, because you can reach thousands, which is why I love speaking for you so much and why I enjoy doing it so much, that impact. But every person can benefit from, I think, I would just say optimizing their life.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy most? And, what do you think people at home who don't know where to start should do?
Really, well, I love doing this because it gives people back their life. So many people start a business because they realize they can make money doing whatever it is that their specialty is. But then they get overwhelmed, they get stuck in what they're doing, and they burn out. And that is such a shame, right? Because they have a light to shine and they can't do it otherwise. And so for me, it's most rewarding to be able to give people back that glimmer of hope
Mm.
and give them back their passion for it because that bogged down feeling of running the operations can completely derail anybody. So,
I love that. And I think that, thank you. That is a great note to remind people at home that no matter where you are or how overwhelmed you feel, happens to me all the time. And this is my 12th year in business. So I think there is no magic pill, but there is magic with Megan.
oh, I like
Thank
that.
you. Yes. And it takes a lot of courage to wave the white flag and say, I need help. But if you need help right now, Megan's information is on the screen for you and for your pleasure. Thank you so much, Megan, for being on the show. You're such an inspiration and such a great help for people at home. Thank you so much for watching. And I know you know somebody out there who's doing something amazing. So whatever you do, don't keep it to yourself. Take a little time, share the love. Email us here at The Meredith Show. We'd love to share your story of courage and overcoming it to shine through. Thanks so much to Meghan and for all the amazing entrepreneurs out there willing to have the bravery and the courage to speak up, stand out, and shine. See you soon. If you have an amazing story of courage, our producers at The Meredith Show would love to hear from you. Email us at hello@themeredithshow.com. And if you'd like even more stories of courage on your feed, be sure to subscribe to The Meredith Show on YouTube, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram under The Meredith Show.